flash, bright like a roaring fight. Crypto and dreams under stadium lights. Sweat and fire, hearts ignite. Evening sports buffet, with the Ginch we play.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is February 2nd, Monday. It is frigid. Get it done. No snow, no sleet, nothing like that. It's just very, very cold in the Northeast. As it is 3/4 of the nation right now with this Arctic flag. But thanks for joining for another episode. Thanks to the Ginch Quartet there. Thanks for joining. Hope your team has won this weekend. We are T-minus 6 days until the Super Bowl, fast approaching. But I got to talk a little hockey, and I'm going to bring him on now. I hope I'm saying his name right. Is it Zator? Is it Matthew Zator? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, it's that's one way. There's a few different ones, but yeah.
I was thinking Zator. I was hoping I wasn't going to butcher it. Too bad.
No, it's good.
I'm just going to read this off the X machine here. At Matthew Zator SC, hashtag Canucks, writer and media HockeyPedia, copy editor at Substack, manager at the Hockey Writer, host of Prospect Cort. He also writes about prospects and the hashtag NHL Drive. Matthew, thank you so much for joining. Look, we're coming up on the Olympic break here soon. I go over the standings as I do every Monday. Look, there's some teams right now that are going to be fine, like Tampa Bay, like Colorado, like Vegas, as they have been for the last 10 years. But if you're going to make a playoff push here, I know looking at Boston, you're looking at teams like maybe the Islanders, Columbus, the Mammoth, who else? Anaheim, the Kings. What sort of wheeling and dealing do you expect here? Look, we got the winter break, obviously, for the Olympics, and I think the trade deadline is, what was it, March 6th or something like that, from what I saw. So what are some of these teams are going to have to make moves to make a playoff push?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so it seems like so packed, especially in the East, around the Atlantic, because the Atlantic Division has so many teams that are within points of each other, which is pretty crazy when you're looking at it. I mean, that's why I'm not even really sure how many moves. There's not really many straight out sellers right now. Like, you can probably look at a couple teams, or a few teams, of course, the Canucks being one of them, way out of it. And then you're looking at, I mean, maybe the Flames are in that position now, but even they can go on a little bit of a run and make it interesting for a playoff push. So there's a lot of teams that are going to be looking to maybe it's going to be interesting. I mean, because there's not a lot of sellers right now. I mean, and there's a couple days before the roster freeze for the Olympics. They're saying that there might be some trades before then. There's like 2 trade deadlines. So there's this one, and then there's the actual one on March 6th. So I don't know how many trades are going to happen within the next couple of days, because we're coming up on it.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's going to be a pretty big sprint right at the end as well, when, after the month for the Olympics. It's going to be interesting to see how many of these teams actually make moves, because, like I say, there's just not many that are completely out of it that they're going to be saying, well, we're going to trade all these guys, right? Right.
So now looking at the standings again, like you said, in the Eastern Conference, in the Atlantic, you can go from Tampa Bay all the way down to Buffalo. Yeah. Like I said, Buffalo 67 points, and they're in 5th. Tampa Bay at 74 points, but then you look at Florida. You don't really usually see them down there, but they've been battling the injury bug. Ottawa and Toronto. Toronto fans, I feel for you. It's going to be 60 years, looks like, since your last title. In the Metropolitan, I mean, it looks like Carolina has separated themselves in the Metropolitan a little bit. I know Pittsburgh's hanging tough. The Islanders are hanging tough. Columbus, Washington hanging tough. Philly to New Jersey and New York are sort of on the outside looking in right now. So if I'm looking at these teams, Tampa Bay right now is safe. Detroit is safe. Carolina is safe. Pittsburgh's safe. Out of all the other teams that are vying for a playoff push, which one of these teams in the Atlantic or the Metropolitan do you think could make some noise in the second half?
Well, I mean, I think Montreal, they're third in the Atlantic right now, and they've been kind of jumping up and down between. They were first in the Atlantic for a bit. Seems like Tampa Bay, they just keep winning. They've gone on such a big run over the last like few months, and it seems like they've just flipped a switch and they've become the Lightning of like not that long ago where they were winning cups, right? I'm looking at teams like I think the Sabres are going to be one that's going to keep going. It seems like they've kind of figured it out since they fired their GM. It seems changed coaches. They didn't do anything like that. They didn't make any big trades. I'm not sure why a GM. I've never heard of the new GM bump, but looks like they've created one. But yeah, they're right there. The Boston Bruins, I think, are another team that I'm not sure they're going to. I think they got to get better on the road. They're really good at home. I think that's most of their wins are coming there. Blue Jackets, I think, are another team that I think will make a push for playoffs. I'm really looking at the Florida Panthers. They're really out of it right now. They're 8 points out of the first or the second wild card spot. This is the Stanley Cup champions. I mean, they, like you say, dealt with a lot of injuries this season, and Matthew Tkachuk just came back. They don't have Alexander Barkov for the whole season, and then possibly even the playoffs. So that's been a big blow to their hopes, I think. The Senators, they seem to be maybe turning it on, but they're 8 points out too. So some of these teams are going to have to really get on these winning streaks to make a real push for it.
Yeah, now in the Western Conference, I thought Colorado was going to run away with it in the Central, but they sort of hit a wall here. Minnesota's kind of caught fire a little bit. Dallas is still hanging in there. Then look at the Pacific. From Vegas all the way down to the Kings, they're only separated by 4 points. I mean, even teams like LA and San Jose are still kind of hanging around. So when you look at the Western Conference, everybody keeps talking about Colorado being the cream of the crop, but again, they've sort of hit a wall. If you want to go below the threshold here, which one of those teams in either the Central or the Pacific that are hanging middle of the pack that you think could make a push?
I'm really believing that the San Jose Sharks. I mean, Macklin Celebrini has been just unreal this season. He's carried that team, and a lot of people say, well, the Sharks are going to have to get some other guys to do it because their goal differential is not that good. They're minus 17. So, I mean, defensively, they're still not the best team. But Celebrini has just carried them. I think he can keep going and maybe actually push them into the playoffs because they're only 2 points out. And then, like you said, the Pacific is just I don't know if it's so close. I think it's probably one of the worst divisions in the NHL because their point totals aren't that high. Golden Knights and Oilers both tied with 64 points. They both have kind of gone up and down this season, not really a real domination between the two. The Golden Knights are staying there because of their 14 OTLs. I mean, you take those away, they're gone. Like they're down below the playoff, right? And so I hate about those OTLs because it's just you got to get rid of the loser point because this is the reason why they're there. Those are losses. They shouldn't be getting anything from them, but that's how it is. And looking at, I mean, the Kings are in that boat too. They got 14 as well. You take them out, they're not in the playoff conversation. So I mean, I'm looking at the Sharks for sure, and the Mammoth are the two I think are going to be pushing the Ducks and Kings and these Pacific Division guys that are in there. The Central is going to be set. Avs, Wild, and Stars. I don't think anyone's pushing into there. The one that could is way out of it, and that's the Predators, right? So, and that's the three. It might kind of go up and down like it always does, but there's a new team in there, the Wild, because the Jets have fallen off.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about Winnipeg. What seems to be the issue? What's going on there?
Well, I think where it started was when Hellebuck got hurt. He's back now, but that stretch where he was gone, I think they kind of lost a bit of their mojo, maybe. And now they just can't seem to recover from it. And even Hellebuck's not playing that well since he's come back. It's a combination. I think they're not getting a lot of offense either except from their top, Scheifele, Connor. Those are the two guys that are kind of carrying it right now. They're really missing Nikolai Ehlers. I think they kind of underestimated how much he made an impact on that team, and he's doing pretty well in Carolina.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing. How much they dominated last season winning the President's Trophy, and that was on, of course, the back of Hellebuck winning the Vezina and the Hart. So, he hasn't been as good. He hasn't been available as much. I think that it's just a combination of that, and then their offense is just isn't as lethal as it used to be either.
Well, Winnipeg always say, I call it the playoff disease. They always seem to do well in the regular season, and they catch fire, and then all of a sudden when they get to the playoffs, it's like some sort of like disease.
Yeah,
that they get. Talk to me about my Blackhawks. Look, they had their moments early in the 2010s, and I've said to myself, I'll be fine for the next 10 years. That was back in 2015, 2016 when they had the number one seed in the West. And I think they lost in the first round in Nashville, and ever since then, Matthew, it's been downhill. I know they're trying to rebuild. I get it. They're trying to get the pieces in place. I thought early on in the season they had turned a corner a little bit. They were doing well. And now all of a sudden it's sort of right back to the way it's been the last 3 or 4 years.
I was going to say that the Blackhawks, I thought they turned it and around at the beginning of the season because they were really good. They were one of the more surprising teams being in the playoff conversation. I think they were first in the Central for a bit there until the Colorado Avalanche just took off. But Connor Bedard, of course, getting hurt really again kind of pushed. He was just dominating. He was right there with Celebrini. His point totals are still pretty good. I mean, when you're looking at it, but I think he's got hurt, and then all of a sudden they kind of just fell back into their normal over the last few years, right? Where they can't seem to get consistent scoring beyond Bedard, right? They bring in some veterans again. They didn't. I mean, in the offseason, they actually didn't make a lot of those veteran type additions. Kind of just going with the young guys. Frank Nazar has been really good this season as well. I thought they were going to be like the Sharks have been this season with Celebrini and Will Smith. Kind of the Nazar Bedard being the dynamic duo. And I mean, they still can be, and they have been, but I think they, again, need more guys to kind of go and be more productive consistently. And they are definitely still in a rebuild. They got so many young pieces that are just kind of developing. They're going to get some more help coming up with some of their other high-end talent. And then they're going to get a really good draft pick again this season. So just keep adding to that prospect pool.
Before I let you go here, we got to talk Olympics because it's coming up. I know. What's the deal? Any updates on the surface?
The last I heard that it's okay. So I mean, we'll see. It seems like it's good to go.
It's going to come down to the U.S. It's going to come down to Canada, Sweden, Finland, Czechia. Is there anybody, any particular team besides those that we should be on the lookout for?
Well, I mean, there's obviously the normal Canada-U.S., which I think is probably going to be the gold medal game again. But you're looking at, like you mentioned, Czechia is really impressed. I mean, in the World Juniors, they seem to always be there. They got some good NHLers going to the Olympics. So I'd be looking at Czechia maybe making a surprise. I mean, I think it's going to be, I mean, Sweden, Finland, they're always going to be right there as the powers. I mean, Slovakia, they again, I mean, the NHLers going there are going to make them pretty good as well. So, but I think it's still going to come down to that four, Finland, Sweden, Canada, and the US are going to be really vying for that gold.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Matthew Zator. Tell the people where they can read your stuff. Again, I said it at the top of the hour, but you want to reiterate it?
Yeah, you can find my stuff at thehockeywriters.com. I write about the Canucks. Unfortunately, last in the league. They're going to have a chance at the first overall pick this season. So first time in a long time. So we're writing about a lot of the top prospects. So maybe Gavin McKenna coming over to Vancouver as the first overall pick. But yeah, check it out, hockeywriters.com. I also do a lot of videos on the Hockey Writers YouTube channel. We do Prospect Corner, a lot of news and rumors, a whole bunch of stuff. So you can check me out there as well.
Before the playoffs start and the seedings are done, Matthew, I will be picking your brain again. Have you make your picks for the Stanley Cup? I'll make my picks. Right now, if the playoffs started today, before I let you go, who are you going to have from the East? Who are you going to have from the West? If they started today.
It started today. I'm still really Colorado. I think they're coming out of the West. Just Nathan McKinnon just seems like a monster this season, and he's just going to continue in the playoffs. They have gone a bit slower. A bit of a rough patch right now, but they're still one of the best teams in the league. So I'm going for them. And then from the East, this is an interesting one. There's so many teams that I could probably point. I'm going Carolina Hurricanes. I keep picking them, and they seem to never do it, but I'm going to still go with them right now.
All right, Matthew. Thanks for coming on, my man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. That's Matthew Zator, ladies and gentlemen. Again, me being a Blackhawks fan, I'm just in the doldrums right now. It's another lost season, although they should get a nice little draft pick. But yeah, he was talking Colorado again. Colorado's sort of bumped into a little bit of issues here. Their last 10, they're 4-4-2. Minnesota, they're 6-3-1 their last 10. They're chipping away at the lead. I just don't know if they're going to be able in the end catch Colorado for the division title. And then, look in the Pacific, Vegas, Edmonton, tie with 64 points. Then you got Seattle and Anaheim breathing down their neck with 61 points. And then the Kings with 60 points. And again, the Pacific right now is just a mess. The only really team that's out of it is, unfortunately, his Canucks. They're 42 points. They're 22 points back. Calgary's still in it. San Jose is still in it. If we want to go down, we'll stick with hockey in the Eastern Conference. Tampa Bay sitting on top right now with 74 points. They have caught fire, like he said, the last couple months. Detroit in second with 70 points. Montreal and Boston, 69 and 68 points, respectively. Buffalo's fifth with 67 points. Hopefully Buffalo can do some stuff here because, the Bills' whole thing with their collapse. Florida, Ottawa, and Toronto with 59 points. And Metropolitan, Carolina sort of has taken control of the division, although the Penguins have caught fire. They're second with 67 points. Islanders are third with 65 points. They're still kind of hanging tough. Columbus and Washington with 61 points. Philadelphia and New Jersey with 58 points. The Rangers with 50 points. And again, in the Western Conference and the Central, Colorado right now still has a good hold on that. Minnesota, Dallas. It's Colorado, Minnesota, and Dallas. They are going to vie for the division. Utah's fourth with 60 points. Nashville fifth, 56 points. Winnipeg, Chicago with 51 points. And St. Louis is pretty much, for the most part, out of it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are 6 days, again, counting until the Super Bowl. Some news and notes from around the league. As expected, the Bucks are countering trade offers for Giannis, which is probably going to be a hefty trade. Right now, it seems to be the favorites are the Miami Heat, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Golden State Warriors, and the Knicks. I said if he goes to Minnesota, he wouldn't have to go far. He wouldn't have to go far. And you can pit him with, Anthony Edwards. You can pit him with Naz Reid. He's not going to go to some slouch team. At Saif, I hope I'm pronouncing that. Safi Munir, land your feo todo kajdob. Don't know exactly what that means. Is that Swedish? Is that Finnish? I don't know. And at Ahmed Ali, I'm sorry, my eyesight is bad. At Ahmed Ali dash I9S2Z says hello. Howdy, whoever you may be tuning in from. The NFL is looking into the Giants co-owner Mr. Tisch Epstein Files connection. The Epstein Files is going to be probably the talk of the decade. What is ever in there. The administration didn't destroy, by the way. I have to keep an eye on that. The Mariners are nearing a deal for All-Star Brandon Donovan. This is reported by Jeff Passan, Espen. So as this says, they're finalizing a deal or they're coming to a deal. This reported by Alden Gonzalez, Espen. At least 6 teams are to leave Main Street Sports and join Major League Baseball. The Brewers, the Marlins, the Royals, the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Rays have decided that they will partner with Major League Baseball, which will produce their games for the 2026 season and beyond, as first reported by Puck's John Orand. The Cardinals, Royals, and Brewers have formally announced the transitions. The Braves, the Angels, and the Tigers are the remaining baseball teams in Main Street Sports portfolio. They have yet to announce their plans yet. So there's a bit of Major League Baseball news for you. Let's see what else. The Heat's Terry Rozier has won his salary dispute with the NBA. This is reported by David Purdom, Espen. Rozier's salary, which had been held in escrow since December, will be released after the arbitrator found that under the terms of the collective bargaining agreement, players cannot be put on unpaid leave other than in cases of domestic abuse or child abuse. So a win for Mr. Rozier. This is reported by Juan Tai, Espen. An additional 17 former North Carolina State male student athletes have joined a lawsuit alleging sexual abuse, sexual harassment, and sexual exploitation by the university's former sports medicine director, Robert Murphy. The amended complaint filed late Friday brings the number of plaintiffs to 31. Fresh your memory, the lawsuit also names as defendants senior administrators of the athletic department, asserting the student athletes reported the misconduct, but the defendants failed to take action. It accuses them of willful, wanton, and or reckless conduct done in conscious and flagrant disregard of and indifference to the rights and safety of others. So we will have to keep an eye on that as well. Just went over the NHL standings. Let's go over the NBA standings, as I do each week on Monday, as soon as they pop up here. Looks like they're not going to pop up here. Let's try this one more time. It's trying to bring the standings up. Talk amongst yourselves. Discuss. Rhode Island is neither a road or an island. I'll have to come back to that, I guess. We went over the HL standings. Scores from yesterday. Down there in Tampa, the Bruins got out to a 5-1 lead in final and shootout. The Lightning win, scoring 5 unanswered goals to beat the Bruins 6-5. The Hurricanes beat the Kings 3-2. That was in overtime. And the Ducks beat the Golden Knights 4-3. It's like Matthew said, I really wish they'd get rid of that friggin' overtime loss point. You either win the game or you lose the game. You don't get any points for losing. You win the game. Those are the points you get. If you don't win any game, you don't get any points. It's just dumb. Dumb. Yeah, the whole overtime loss thing is just bullshit. On the slate tonight in the NHL, heavy slate. The Blues are at the Predators, the Sharks are at the Blackhawks, the Maple Leafs are at the Flames. Sabres at the Panthers, Senators at the Penguins, Islanders are at the Capitals, the Canadiens are at the Wild, the Jets at the Stars, the Red Wings are at the Avalanche, and the Canucks at the Mammoth. Oh, here we go. NBA standings. Out there in your Eastern Conference, Detroit still sits on top, 36-12. Knicks and Boston are second and third, 5.5 back. Toronto and Cleveland, fourth and fifth, respectively, 7.5 back. Philadelphia, 6, 9 points back. Or 9 games behind, which is just whatever. 9 games behind. Miami in seventh, they're 10.5 back. Orlando, 8th, 11 back. Chicago's 9th, 13 back. Atlanta, 13.5 back. They're in 10th. They would get the final play-in spot, whatever the hell they do. Charlotte, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Washington, the Pacers. Out there in the Western Conference, OKC still on top. San Antonio second, 5.5 back. Denver's third, 6 back. Houston's fourth, 7.5 back. Minnesota's fifth, 8 back. The Lakers are sixth, 9 back. Phoenix is seventh. They're also 9 back. Golden State, 8th, 12 back. The Clippers are 9th, 15 back. Portland's 10th, 16 back. Dallas, Memphis, Utah, New Orleans, Sacramento. Yesterday's games in the NBA, good slate. Celtics destroyed the Bucks 107-79. Leading Porter for the Bucks was Mr. Rollins. He had 25 points. Mr. Portis added 12 rebounds. For the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, 30 points. He also added 13 boards. Spurs beat the Magic 112-103. Leading scorer for the Magic was Mr. Bain, 25 points. Paolo Banchero added 10 rebounds. Out there for the Spurs, your leading scorer was Wemby. He had 25 points. De'Aaron Fox added 10 rebounds. Keelan Johnson also had 28 points. And Mr. Harper off the bench. Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah, it was just Wemby that had the 25 points. Pistons destroyed the Nets 130-77. Leading scorer for the Nets, off the bench, Mr. Thomas had 12 points. Mr. Sharp off the bench had 11 rebounds. For the Pistons, leading scorer was Mr. Duran, 21 points. He had 10 boards. The Heat sunburned the Bulls. For Chicago, your leading scorer, Kobe White, 16 points. For the Heat, leading scorers were Bam Adebayo and Mr. Larson, each with 20 points apiece. Wizards beat the Kings 116-112. Leading scorer for the Kings, Zach LaVine had 35 points. DeRozan had 32 points. For the Wizards, your leading scorer off the bench was Mr. Riley. He had 18 points. Knicks beat the Lakers 112-100. Leading scorer for the Lakers, I'll give you one guess. You got it. He had 30 points. He also had 15 boards. That would be Mr. Doncic. For the Knicks, leading scorer was Anunoby, 25 points. Karl Anthony Towns did his thing, double-double wise. He had 11 and 13. Clippers beat the Suns 117-93. Kawhi, the leading scorer for the Clippers, 25 points. Ivan Zubac, he's having a quietly fantastic season. 14 points, 20 boards. For the Suns, the leading scorer was Grayson Allen with 23 points. Cavaliers beat the Trailblazers 130-111. Leading scorer for Cleveland, Jared Allen, he had 40 points, added 17 boards. Okay, great game. For Portland, leading scorer was Mr. Love off the bench with 21 points. Klingon and Williams III, 12 rebounds. And the Thunder beat the Nuggets 121-111. Leading scorer for Oklahoma City was SGA, 34 points. For the Nuggets, leading scorer was Mr. Watson, 29 points. Mr. Jamal Murray added 12 points and 12 assists. On the slate tonight in the NBA, very light. Earlier today, the Hornets beat the Pelicans 102-95. Later on, the Rockets are at the Pacers, the Timberwolves at the Grizz, 76ers at the Clippers. Again, the Bucks are countering for trade offers for Giannis. I think I talked about it last week. Maybe I didn't. Paul George was suspended, I think, 20-some games for, I guess, substance abuse policy. Not good. And Jason Kidd was fined $35,000 for blasting the refs after the loss to the Rockets. I believe it was on Saturday. He said after the game, the referees did not do their job tonight. They were terrible. I don't know why you would get fined for calling out refs. What makes them so special? Referees should actually get fined for making dumbass calls. It's all said across the board. Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, NFL, XYZ. They should have the head of the referee, whatever it is, president of the Officials Association, I don't know. Review each game, look at the calls, and if it's way, way inconsistent and you make dumbass calls, referees should get fined. That's just my humble opinion, by the way. Again, I will make my NFL pick on Thursday. I'm not going to do it now. Let's go to NCAA men's basketball. The standings as they stand as of today. Or the rankings, I'm sorry. I'll use the AP this week. 25th is Tennessee. 24th is Louisville. 23rd is Miami of Ohio. Still undefeated, by the way. St. John's is 22nd. Arkansas is 21st. Clemson's 20th. St. Louis is 19th. Virginia 18th. Florida 17th. BYU is 16th. Vandy is 15th. North Carolina is 14th. Texas Tech 13th. Purdue, which is really fallen off a cliff here, there's 12th. Kansas 11th. Michigan State 10th. Nebraska 9th. Houston 8th. Iowa State 7th. Gonzaga 6th. Illinois 5th. Duke is 4th. Connecticut is 3rd. Michigan 2nd. And Arizona still undefeated. Unanimous number 1. Top 25 action from yesterday in the men's. Number 12 Purdue beat Maryland 93-63. Number 19 Florida handled the Crimson Tide 100-77. Number 8 Iowa State all over Kansas State 95-90. And number 9 Illinois quietly creeping up the rankings. They beat number 5 Nebraska 78-69. Top 25 action tonight. Syracuse is at number 14 North Carolina. And number 11 Kansas is at number 13 Texas Tech. For the women, the rankings. AP top 25. North Carolina's 25th. Washington's 24th. Princeton's 23rd. Maryland's 22nd. Alabama's 21st. West Virginia is 20th. Tennessee 19th. Texas Tech 18th. Duke is 17th. Kentucky 16th. Baylor's 15th. TCU 14th. Mississippi the 13th ranked team. Michigan State 12th. Oklahoma 11th. Iowa 10th. Ohio State 9th. Michigan 8th. Vanderbilt 7th. Louisville 6th. LSU's 5th. Texas is 4th. South Carolina 3rd. UCLA 2nd. And UConn undefeated 23-0. Unanimous number 1. Yesterday, top 25 action in the women's. A hefty slate. Number 1, UConn all over number 15, Tennessee, 96-66. Number 6, LSU blasted out number 24, Alabama, 103-63. Final in overtime. Number 9, Michigan over number 13, Michigan State, 94-91. Number 20, Duke over Wake Forest, 80-44. And number 22, West Virginia over number 14, Baylor, 70-60. Number 7, Louisville over Cal, 71-59. Number 21, Texas Tech beat number 12, TCU, 62-60. Number 18, Kentucky over Arkansas, 93-73. Number 4, Texas over number 10, Oklahoma, 78-70. Number 2, UCLA beat number 8, Iowa, 88-65. Number 5, Vandy beat Florida, 82-66. Number 11, Ohio State beat Nebraska, 90-71. Number 25, Washington got downed by Illinois, 75-66. On the slate today, right now in the second, number 25, North Carolina down NC State, 31-25. Number 13, Ole Miss will host Auburn, and number 3, South Carolina is at Texas A&M. PGA Tour, Justin Rose set the record out there at Torrey Pines in the Farmers Insurance Open. He wins with a 23 under par score. Of course, Mr. Kuti, Mr. Hizatsune, Mr. Kim, all 16 under par. They split the purse. Justin Rose won $1.7 million for his troubles. Kuti, Hisatsune, and Kim each bagged $726,400. Nice payday. Corn Ferry Tour, the Panama Championship down there in Panama City. The American Mr. Holt, 8 under par. It's $180,000. The women's, Nelly Korda, she won the tournament down there in Hilton Head, shortened because of the weather, because of the coldness and the wind. So she wins down there. Again, the Olympics coming fast and furious. They'll be kicking off. NASCAR's Busch Clash got snowed out, by the way, down there in North Carolina. I'm going to say this to NASCAR again. The Busch Clash out there in California was a dumbass idea. Having a Busch Clash in North Carolina is a dumb idea. Dumbass idea. You want to know where the Busch Clash should be? Daytona. The qualifying, the Busch Clash, the dual 125s or whatever the fuck they call them now, I don't know. In tennis, we're down there at the Australian Open. Let me pull it up. Mr. Alcaraz dropped the first set 2-6, but then he really took control after that. So he wins 2-6, 6-2, 6-3, 7-5. He now has the career Grand Slam, I believe, at the age of 22. I believe he is the youngest now, from what I was reading. And Miss Rybakina beat Sabalenka 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 to be crowned the women's champion of the Australian Open. So good for her. English Premier League this past weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, let me go to the table. Right now, I'll give you the top 4 because these top 4 teams that make Champions League right now. Arsenal on top by 6 points with 53. Man City is in second with 47 points, so they're 6 back. Aston Villa sitting in third, 46 points, 7 back. And Man United up there in fourth with 41 points. They are 12 back of first. The season ended today. West Ham, Burnley, and Wolverhampton would each get relegated. Scores from this past weekend. On Saturday, Arsenal blasted Leeds 4-0. Brighton Everton 1-1 draw. Bournemouth over Wolves 2-0. Chelsea beat West Ham 3-2, and Liverpool all over Newcastle 4-1. Yesterday, Brentford with a big win over Villa 1-0. Man United over Fulham 3-2. Nottingham Forest Crystal Palace a 1-1 draw. Tottenham and Man City a 2-2 draw. And today, Sunderland blanked Burnley 3-0. So I think that's going to do it for tonight. Looking at Major League Baseball news, like I said, nothing other than what I mentioned earlier. Yes, so I want to thank Mr. Matthew Zator for coming on the program again. Great NHL insight. Enjoy whatever sport you're going to watch tonight. NHL, NBA, whatever sport you want to enjoy. More power to you. College basketball, men or women's, you can check that out. Again, as I end each show, practice compassion, practice empathy, have practice or passion for what you do. Hug somebody every once in a while. You might make their day. Tell somebody that you love them. You might not get a second opportunity. And for the love of God, if you see somebody struggling, inquire, ask questions. How can you get this person help? How can you help? You might not just be saving a life. You might be saving a multitude of lives. So, with all that being said, enjoy. Check on your pets. It's cold outside. Check on the elderly. Just make sure everybody's safe in this frigid weather. There is only one thing left for me to do, and that's for Dandy Don Meredith to take me out.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night, the party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.